Want to get your take on a couple things happening. One, let me pull this up. I had it pulled up. There it is. News broken by TMZ. Hulk Hogan apparently rescued a woman from a burning car. Wanted to get your thoughts on this. Did you see this? And also, how amazing is it that Hulk Hogan in an NWO shirt rescued someone during an accident? Do you remember other instances? I remember one in UWF of wrestlers saving other people from car accidents.
Well, yeah, and that was somebody on Twitter said, could you imagine you're in a upside down burning car and all of a sudden you see Hulk Hogan in an NWO t-shirt coming running to your rescue? But actually, I saw the pictures and everything, the TMZ story and blah, 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 but it apparently was Hulk Hogan, his new wife. They'd been out to dinner with a friend of theirs. And the pictures looked to me, every picture I saw was Hulk Hogan was standing there with his hands on his hips, staring at everything, and the friend was the one that was running and or pulling and or whatever. But apparently the woman got clipped on the interstate right in front of them and flipped upside down in the ditch, and they went up there and
it wasn't burning at all. It was just flipped over.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know whether it was a goddamn 5-alarm fire. I think there may have been a picture of something burning. I don't know what. But yeah, again, apparently, what I saw was there was no like video of running and panic, and the still pictures I saw were Hogan was standing there looking at this shit, and the other guy had been running around doing some things.
Let me read it to you the way TMZ wrote it here. Hulk and company, our sources explain, pulled over immediately with Hulk Hogan and his pal Jake rushing over to render aid.
Not the one you might think.
Rushing over to render aid to the driver, a woman whom we're told was rattled. Since they were first on the scene, we're told Hulk and Jake actually helped to get her out of the car. Our sources say Jake popped the woman's airbag with some tools that Hulk had on hand. And they both unbuckled her seatbelt.
He had the tools from Shopify.
And they both unbuckled her seat. It was a two-man job to unbuckle the seatbelt. Yeah.
Well, those things can be tricky in the newer models.
And assisted her in safely leaving the vehicle. We're told paramedics eventually arrived on the scene, and Hulk and his crew looked on. In the end...
that's where they took the pictures of Hulk looking on.
In the end, our sources say the woman appeared to be okay, and Hulk Hogan was happy to help.
Who were their sources that were on the scene at the side of the road there? It could have been Hulk's wife that posted the pictures on her Facebook account or whatever. Say, look what my husband just did.
Our source, where we can't give his real name, he calls himself Terry B, told us this is what happened. And they call us brother 80 times. So Hulk Hogan saving the day. Any thoughts on this?
Here he comes to save the day. Well, you asked about or mentioned
other instances. That's right.
Other instances. Was that Doc and Duggan?
I think it was Doc and Steiner.
That's right. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Rick Steiner. And I'm surprised more guys didn't not only get involved in, but come upon accidents in the Mid-South territory with those fucking roads. But yeah, there was a time that I think was 86-ish. I guess Steiner would have probably just started.
That's right.
That they came upon a flaming wreck and had to pull. It wasn't a story that, and this I can kind of believe that Doc yanked the fucking door off of something or other.
I always heard that Dr. Death yanked the door off the hinges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you call them hinges on the car? I don't know, but he yanked the door off. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see that happening with when Doc got mad or what's the adrenaline going. But the backup was Steiner, so what the fuck? I don't think the car door stood a chance. I mean, there's been times over the years in the territories that guys came upon wrecks, and I don't know, whether anything ever made national news, like when Duggan and Sheik got stopped on the turnpike. There was, obviously unfortunately, the wreck that it killed Sam Bass and Frank Hester and Pepe Lopez. Some of the guys came upon that one because they were on the way back from Memphis, but it was obviously too late to do anything. And in the territory days, putting in almost any territory, guys would do 2,000 miles a week in the car, every week. And then something like Mid-South or, a fucking place like Calgary where everything was so far apart was even more. So there was some great, accident stories and hitting mooses and things and such in the Calgary Stampede territory. That's why I don't know how more of those guys didn't end up at the bottom of a frozen lake with the stories. And they would drive on those roads like they were driving on, normal roads in normal weather to just get to the towns. And everybody that ever worked there that didn't like live there and just homestead there and wasn't used to it said they'd never been scared for their fucking life. But where were we? I don't know. We ended up in Calgary on snow-covered roads.
That's right. And you know that when Dr. Death and Rick Steiner drove down the road, they weren't like listening to Christian music in the car or anything like that. They're probably pretty amped up, ready. What's that on the side of the road?
Hey, Doc was fucking amped up all the time. and naturally, and sometimes, he had assistance, but he could go from 0 to 60 in about 1 second.
Yeah, from like 84 till the end, like every story out of Mid-South contains one giant guy who may be on one thing or another, either ripping a door off something, holding on to a door, or just something.
Well, remember I told you a story about Hercules Hernandez.
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
For the newer listeners, I'm coming back from Jackson, Mississippi. I happen to be driving by myself. I think I'd come from interviews. The boys didn't have to go, whatever. And I see on the side of the road in like 1 o'clock in the morning, this 2-lane state highway, this big car, and it's driving down the shoulder, not the right lane, but the shoulder of the road. It's not an interstate, so it's just, a 2-lane state highway. He's on the shoulder. He's doing about 25, 30 miles an hour, and the driver's door is at a 90-degree perpendicular angle sticking straight out. And what the fuck? And as I slow down, I'm going to go around this. I see it's Hercules Hernandez. And his girlfriend that he had at the time that got him in a world of trouble in Louisiana, and I think the 2 or 3 cats that lived in their back seat when they made the towns. And I pulled alongside him, and it's like 35, 40 degrees. It's late fall, right? In the middle of the night. I just said, what? What? Herc, what? Oh, brother. He had stopped to take a piss. And as he was getting out of the car on the side of the road, he said a big truck or 18-wheeler, whatever, came along and hit his fucking door. Boom. And now it's stuck and he couldn't close it. And I said, my God, I'm surprised that it didn't take the whole door completely off. He said, well, the lucky thing was I was holding on to it. God damn it.
It's amazing.
So he drove another 100-something miles to Alexandria, Louisiana with that fucking door at a perpendicular goddamn angle.
Hey, it's 40 years ago and Herc has been gone for a while. I don't know where his girlfriend at the time was or if he ended up marrying her or anything about
No. That there was a breakup not shortly thereafter.
I was going to say, you said she got him into a lot of trouble. What kind of trouble was he getting into?
Well, no, she got him in trouble. Whatever the fuck. It's been 40 years that I wasn't present on the scene, and Herc didn't tell the most detailed of stories, but they had a fight or whatever, because she was kind of weird. I don't know. She just gave to the cats and the whole thing. She wasn't fucking around with the other guys. Like, who's going to touch her with Hercules, right? But she was just a strange person. And then they broke up. And apparently she called the cops on him for something or other. And I don't remember that anybody alleged that he beat her up or anything like that, but she called the cops on him, get him where they came beating on his fucking door. Maybe she turned him in for the gas. I don't know. And when he opened the door and saw the cops, he was not the most welcoming of persons in that fucking instance, and they were scared shitless because they seen him on TV. So there was about 6 or 7 of them, and it was a fucking even match for a while, but they got him down with the nightsticks, and
wow,
fucking they choked him with a thing where his blood vessels burst in his eyes and all that shit. And of course, now there was only 6 of them, and they only had the nightsticks. They didn't have tasers then, so he didn't have to take a day off of work. I'm serious. They barely got him to fucking jail, and then besides resisting arrest, and I think they were kind of overzealous when they came in, I don't remember anything bad happening to him about it, and he was in the territory for a while longer. But yeah, so 1 Hercules Hernandez, 6 Alexandria City police officers with nightsticks. It was about even, but it was, if he'd had more room in the apartment, I believe he could have come out better.
Wow, you never get tired of Hercules Hernandez stories, but once again, let's end on the big note. Thank you, Hulk Hogan.
Yes, for rescuing the here he comes to save the day. Oh, yes, it's Hogan on the way.
With his pal Ed Leslie.
Okay, you ain't pulling that off either.
I'm trying to do your stupid voice. I wasn't doing a real good voice.
I don't know if it's as endearing as mine.
I don't know if the friendship or the voice.
The voice.
Oh.